My Life Between Lives story from Newton Train Institute practitioners.
I see a whole change in the thrust of searching for answers about who we are and why we're here. And I think it's wonderful, and I just hope the movement continues to expand.
Let us expand the universal consciousness together with a My Life Between Lives story presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Welcome, dear friends. This is My LBL Story. My name is Ekomananda. I am your host. Today, my special guest is Catlin. Jen is a transpersonal and spiritual hypnotherapist, a mindfulness teacher, and a hypnosis certification instructor. Jen began her career as a school psychologist, but a series of transformative spiritually awakening experiences, including a near-death experience, led her onto a much deeper path that allowed her to understand the mysteries of life and death. Jen is also the former Assistant Director of Education for Michael Newton Institute. She believes that we all have the answers and the love that we seek from within. A big warm welcome to Jen. So all of these experiences happened, shifted your career direction, shifted your viewpoint of the self and your worldly views. And so if you define the self, what would you say?
Which part of the self? The true self?
If you would say I am, what would you say?
I don't know that I have a word. I am is, I believe in this human form, I can be whatever I fill in the blank with that, that word to be. And sometimes it's things that serve me, sometimes not. And I believe consciousness is becoming self-aware through all of our experiences. We're all one, but we are consciousness in a different expression. So what my human would say I am is different than what I believe I am is consciousness. I am that I am. I just am in consciousness. I believe that is the self, but I do believe we also manifest and co-create these life experiences, because after the words I am, we tend to fill in a blank with whatever our belief systems are as humans and create that life experience. But that can change too when we change our belief systems. But beyond all of that, to me, it's just I am. Consciousness is everything. Everything that exists.
Everything that exists.
Yeah. I believe we are each other. I mean, this is just my belief too, and I don't want to put that belief on anyone else. And my beliefs are always evolving too over time, but I do believe we are each other. We are all consciousness. We're just experiencing it in a different, unique way. The possibilities are infinite.
We are each other. I love that. Yeah. And I think this is when compassion is truly being absorbed. We love each other unconditionally. It's not a transaction level.
That's absolutely true. And of course, there's times that I, as a human, I'm imperfect, and I'm here living an imperfect life. I think if we're already perfect in spirit, so we come here to experience duality. And so there's times I forget that. There's moments I get caught up in my stuff, my human stuff. But ultimately, I know that truth is always there for me, and I can always come back to it. And I truly do believe as humans, I want to be in the space of unconditional love, but there's also times I need to have boundaries for self-care. And so I think that is okay and healthy as a human, but I can disagree with somebody. I could even feel angry towards somebody, but beyond that, I can still love them unconditionally. It's just like I'm a parent with kids, and I think parents or people who have pets or anything that we care for, anybody we care about, those people or those animals might do something that causes us to feel anger or frustration, but we still love them. And so that's how I feel. That's the space that I want to be in.
In the human vehicle, we have these human emotions. I suppose we will have to really know the self, respect our emotions. When those moments, sort of hiccups, happens in our daily
Yes, it's
mundane
so
lives,
important to
and just recognize our emotions and let it be.
absolutely.
Let it be. And it's okay to feel agitated, to feel anger, to feel upset, feeling moments of a loss. And it's all perfectly good because the emotions change. It doesn't stay. It's not permanent. And so we let go, we let be. We're not caught up with the
That's right.
temporal body and the mind. And back to your occupation title, you were a psychologist, and ever since then, you transitioned to become a spiritual hypnotherapist, a transpersonal, and a mindfulness teacher. How would you say the difference between what you do now versus what you did as a psychologist?
It's very different. There were things I did in the counseling part of the practice that were similar in terms of helping people with process their emotions. So there are some similar aspects because I also do that in my practice to help people process through the hard human stuff. But there's so much that is different now. I mean, so much of what I dealt with before was really, really just in the human 3D world. And now it's gotten bigger. It's a lot more expansive now. So now it's about helping people to transcend, to process through the human stuff, but also be able to transcend the human stuff so they can have a different perspective of it. Not to ignore their emotions or push them away, but so that they can come to a place where they can also unconditionally love all of those aspects of their human self.
Absolutely right. I often tell my friends, clients, we don't just limit ourselves with the body and the mind, because a simple question is, what do we know about the self that is absolutely not changing? And what do we know the self as essence, as soul?
There is a part of us when people can access that.
And do you teach people how to access that? And that's part of your training?
I do. I do bring a lot of mindfulness. So I have a background in training in mindfulness as well. I use it in my personal life every day. I'm coming back to that. And I bring that into my practice a lot to help people learn how to be present, how to hold space for their own uncomfortable emotions, how to become more comfortable with discomfort, and realize that there is a stillness and essence about them that's always there, always unchanging, and everything else is like the weather that just is passing by, and the weather changes moment to moment, day to day.
The unchanging part, and to me, that's consciousness. Because we can take on different bodies, we take on different experiences. Yesterday, I loved that person, and tomorrow, I have a different relationship, and this happens to our lives. Yesterday, I was a teacher. Today, I am a spiritual hypnotherapist. And yesterday, I was young, and today, I am old. And this allows us to
Yes.
really
That's
look
the
at
identification, the I am.
the I am part. And you said that
Yeah.
so isn't human. And to those, some of the audience might have this challenge to believe that the soul exists. And what would you say to them?
I would personally say it's okay to be where they're at. I was there at one point too, and I'm not here to convince anybody. I don't believe that's my job. I do want to provide information and share my experience because I feel like it is important because there are other people who are having experiences. They don't know what's happening to them. It gets scary. They don't know who to talk to. And so I want to normalize that but it's also okay for people to be where they are. And if there are people listening who aren't sure, but they're curious about exploring, I would encourage people to read. There's so many books out there, so many resources, podcasts like this to listen to. Many people have had near-death experiences, which shifted. I've worked with several people who were atheist or evangelical who've come to the middle, and shifted their views. I would just encourage people to explore, to learn how to connect with their inner intuition and to listen to what resonates. Like, feel in the body. My body communicates with me when I know something resonates versus when it doesn't. And so just get to know their truth.
I love your approach that you allow people to be at their own space and in their own pace to just open up the heart and the mind to know more about the self. It's such a wonderful sharing.
Yeah, I think it's important for me anyway. It's so important to meet people where they are.
Thank you. Your experiences have shaped your view towards life and death. Is there death?
That's like a trick question. um, is there death? I mean, I think there's the perception of death from these bodies that we are inhabiting, but death to me is a transition. I think we're very, very much alive in spirit. So it's almost like while we're here, we're dreaming. We're asleep right now in spirit. We're experiencing the dream. And when we transition from these bodies, it's not I don't believe it's a final death. No, we're going home. We're alive.
I think you have beautifully answered this question in a very nice way, in a transition, and we're going home. We are in a dream. Because I have been trying to train myself to perform out of body, and I'm finding difficulties. And my teacher said, "You're in the dream anyway. You're already out of body. You just recognize this is a dream. You don't have to force yourself." Because I have to watch my body from skin level, bone level, blood level, circulating level, and muscle level, and then just fully focus on, and then trying to step out of the body and watch the body. I said, that's painful. He said, stop that. Right? You're in a dream. And this life is just a long, slow motion of a dream. And then go and play with everything that you do, with a child, innocent, that presence, and then life would just be happy.
Yes. Yes. That's it. It truly is when we can just be and in that space of presence, no matter what it is our experience is, and be with it and be in curiosity of it. There's so much peace there. And I know that's when I feel most at peace, even when I have unpleasant emotions. It's when I get caught in the identification with those emotions or what's happening is when I start experiencing suffering. And it happens to me.
So much peace. So much peace. I can just feel it. Like when recognize consciousness is sometimes we don't need words. Words can become problematic. And I can just sense peace and vibrating from the other side of the world when so and so speaks. It's so beautiful. Now, as a mindfulness teacher, I wonder if you have a few tips for the audience to take away, to help them to zen in, to feel the peace, to be more connected with the self.
Well, it depends where a person is at, I think. Some of the things that, especially for people who are just beginning with this and just opening up to this, I will have people start by practicing with something they already do every day. So, for example, if they brush their teeth every day, to pick an activity they're already doing. It doesn't take any extra time. And notice, just start to become aware of how present or lack of present you are with that thing, especially because it's a mundane task. So noticing where your mind is when you're doing it. Are you paying attention? If it were brushing your teeth, are you noticing the feeling of the toothbrush on your teeth? Are you noticing the smell of the toothpaste and the taste? Where is your mind otherwise if it's not? So I have people practice noticing when it wanders, and there's no judgment of that, just acknowledge, and then come back to experience it through the senses. The other tip I recommend is when you're practicing, whether it's in a formal meditation or an informal moment in life, practicing mindfulness, is to practice from the perspective a new baby would have when they're experiencing the world. And so be in curiosity, be in beginner's mind, because the perspective can change. I remember the first time I stared at the trunk of a tree for an hour, a same tree that I've seen a million times before, but I practiced looking at the tree as if I had no words for it. And just through my senses, through my sense of sight, through my sense of touch. And it was a completely different experience. I remember the leaves looked so much more vivid to me. I started noticing the space between the leaves. And I wasn't labeling it with words, but just being in wonder of something. That is mindfulness. And so we can start practicing this in so many different ways, through sight, through sound, touch, here, with your breath. I mean, to sit with your breath and just experience every breath as if it's a brand new breath, because it is. You're never going to experience the same breath again. And so all of these things can be really helpful.
Wonderment, concentration, observation, and just watch the world, how it's happening all around you with the five sense organs. Beautifully put.
I think the most challenging part is, beyond even observing, is judging. Is instead of just being in curiosity and wonderment, like you said, there is a part of us that starts to put into categories of good, bad, or neutral what we experience. And so part of the practice is also just noticing that tendency and just coming back to the experience itself as if you're observing it objectively without judgment.
The significant tool that the mind carries is being able to judge, being able to assess, being able to filter. And sometimes it serves as a hindrance, a burden for us to go home. I wonder why, if there's God, if the universe actually give us this tool at all. Why does it give us this tool? The tool of mind.
So true. Yeah, it's a challenge.
I thought that the universe or the soul came over, took on the body, and the gift is the mind, it's a tool. But how are we going to utilize this tool called mind, right? The mind. The mind can do so many things, and it collects experiences from opinions, thoughts, perceptions. Now, then, when we coming home, we have to dissolve them, let them go. It's like, oh, we've done with the mind. Now we don't need the mind anymore. We come home and experience total love and total peace.
Yes, that's it. I think, we have these minds because they create the illusion of separation. I think we have to know what we are not in order to be able to identify and really know what we truly are.
That is right, to truly know what we are not. And so all of your hypnosis kit is to help people to identify that what we are not. And for all the audience, what they're looking for, the answers and the love are all within themselves.
Yeah. I think there's an inherent nature for people to know that part of themselves. People are seeking for it. We're always seeking peace. We're always being guided to find that in some way. It's just, yeah, it's also a process of learning how to be at peace with this experience that we chose to have.
The experience of peace. And look at her life, look at my life, and we are two examples here. We live in peace. We breathe with peace. And this is what the spiritual experiences have made us who we are today. If you are going through spiritual experiences or life trauma or looking for answers, and find a local LBL therapist, speak to Jan. And she is so experienced and have all those golden wisdom in her mind, in her toolkit to help you to find your answer. Now, if there's a final advice that you have for the audience, and what would that be?
To continue to listen, to do everything you can do to learn how your intuition speaks to you so that you can find your truth, to pay attention to the signs and listen to those inner nudges that you get. Listen to your inner guidance. It will never serve you wrong. It's always there for you.
Listen, pay attention. And this is to me, this is to everybody. And sometimes we tend to forget these little things. And we don't link these A, B, C, D small events together. They are a chain of spiritual events. And eventually, they all come together, form a big picture that is who we are and what we are, why we're here.
Yes, yes. And a reminder to myself too. I need these reminders too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jen, for your precious timing and coming to the show, share your experiences. There are so many, and I feel like I'm gonna just scratch a little bit on the surface. So much wisdom, so much light. I can just feel your energy is so pure. And each time I have this luxury to speak to consciousness, I feel just pure love and pure peace manifested from the other side of the camera. It's so beautiful.
Thank you so much for holding space for this and for sharing the message that each of us has. You know, it's another piece of consciousness, and I just appreciate you offering this.
And you have a training coming up in August, 27th of August.
Yes, yes. Another, I teach with another Newton Institute colleague. And so we have another training beginning, another training group, August 27th. It starts for hypnotherapy training. Yeah.
How often do you run this training?
Twice a year.
Twice a
Yeah,
year.
twice a year. And then we offer an advanced parts therapy training as well. But once people are trained. But yeah, the main training, which includes past life regression training as well, is twice a year.
Beautiful. Please do check out Jen's website. There's tons of information, and she's produced different kits, different products and services that you can access easily at an affordable rate. Thank you so much once again for coming to the show and sharing us your light and wisdom.
Thank you so much, Apple. I appreciate it.